Hey guys, welcome back to Shep Talk and welcome back to a Shep Talk TV review. It's been a while since I've done a TV review, but I have this special preview for you guys. Before we get into that review though, a quick admin note. If you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button as well as the bell icon so you can get notified whenever I upload a video. Also, if you haven't noticed or don't pay attention to down below, I'm also on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, so make sure you click on those links down below and follow me there. Now, let's get to my review of Emily in Paris. Emily in Paris was directed by Darren Star, who has also directed episodes on Younger, Kitchen Confidential, and Beverly Hills 90210. Emily in Paris stars Lily Collins, Samuel Arnold, Lucas Bravo, Ashley Park, and please forgive me, ma'am, because I'm going to butcher your name, Philippina Leroy Belu? I think it's Belu, but sorry. Quick synopsis. Emily Cooper is an ambitious Midwesterner who is handed an unexpected opportunity to work for a French marketing firm. The only problem, she doesn't speak French, and the company she is working at doesn't really want her there. First of all, guys, I want to thank Netflix for allowing me to screen this series early. It is great being able to finally watch something early and get my review to you guys before it hits the airwaves. Emily in Paris debuts on Netflix on October 2nd. It is a 10-episode series with an average runtime of 30 minutes per episode. I think shows like these are a guilty pleasure for me because really I am not the demographic these types of shows are really trying to hit. But I have to say, I really enjoyed Emily in Paris. Lily Collins is an absolute star in this show, and without her, I don't know if I could have enjoyed the show as much as I did. Now, I'm going to be honest. This show is not something groundbreaking. We have seen many different spins on the character being thrust into a position they are not ready for, and that the people they work for or work with are not really happy that they are there. But Emily in Paris gives us that break from reality that is missing right now. Emily is so easy to fall for, and you just want her to succeed, that you are cheering for her throughout each and every episode. What Emily in Paris gives us this light, carefree show that brings laughs, love, drama, and just all-around fun in a time when new TV shows are few and far between, and really there isn't anything out there that kind of fills the void that Emily in Paris does. Even the other characters are pretty fun to watch. One of my favorites of the show is Bruno Guerri, who plays Luke. He is one of the co-workers that Emily works with and one of the first that really breaks the ice with Emily and tries to befriend her. He's one of the funniest people on the series, and I would love to see more from him. Let me tell you guys, he has one episode where he's trying to get this marketing pitch across. And especially being in Paris, there's this one phrase, one situation that he's just trying to get across, and it is just hilarious. Especially how they frame some of the scenes, and I tell you, when you see that episode, you'll know what I'm talking about because every time I was laughing my butt off. Another character that I loved watching was Samuel Arnold, who plays Julian, another co-worker of Emily's who first gives her the cold shoulder, but once Emily proves she is not someone to be bullied, becomes friends with. He is really this character that gives Emily some great advice, especially with the French culture and the French job experience, and his role is not too big in this series, but he's always there to help Emily when she needs it, pretty much. And I think Julian is just a really great character. This show really does not pull a lot of punches, be it taking jabs at Americans and how we see the rest of the world, and how the French, when it comes to Americans who come into the country and try to tell them how to run their lives. I was very surprised at this. I thought the snark on both sides were really well done. They hit home. There were some hits out there that I was like, bam! You guys are not holding back. I really enjoyed it because it is true. We as Americans see ourselves one way, the French see themselves as another way, and we just have a really clash of culture. I can see how one would fall in love, not just with the city of Paris, but the culture that is also found there. One of the major points that the show makes, and that I really believe is true, is that most Americans live to work, while the French, they work to live. That hits so close to home, at least from everything I've seen in society today. We can't seem to understand that living shouldn't be centered around work. When we are not at work, we shouldn't be wondering what is going on at work. We should be out enjoying life. And that is one message I can get behind from this show. Now, this show is not perfect. I did mention that it is not groundbreaking. We have seen this story before. And some of the other critiques I have of the show, though, is Emily's French. I know at the beginning of the show, she is thrust into this work life, this work experience, and so wasn't really prepared to learn French. But at least at the beginning of the series, like the first few episodes, she does make the effort to try to learn, even going so far as to take a class. But further in, it seems to be a forgotten storyline. But there, Emily does make comments like, "Pardon my French" or "Excuse my language." But everyone has pretty much switched to English by the midpoint of the show. You do get some of the jokes later on, and Emily does try a little bit, but it just seems to drop. Another thing that irked me is how lucky Emily is. She seems to fall into situations that at first seem like it is going to be the end of her and her time in Paris, but due to her brilliance in marketing, is able to find a solution that not only works, but propels her further up in the eyes of the customer, which of course makes her boss resent her more because she believes that luxury is not for everyone and should be exclusive. And then also her boss thinks that all her ideals are pretty much American as well, that they don't incorporate the French culture. And so it's this really battle of trying to incorporate both sides of the culture into a product to present to the customer. I would love to see more consequences for Emily if we get a next season. Things just seem to fall into place far too often without Emily really having to deal with any of the consequences or fallout from her actions. And I'm sorry if you can hear Cotton, he is making himself comfortable on the couch next to me. Now I have kind of talked about the actors already, but there is a few things more I can talk about or want to talk about. First, once again, I think this is Lily Collins' show, and she shines brightly in it. If for no other reason, watch the show because of her. I think she does an outstanding job, and I don't think you'll be disappointed. The cast is all around good as well. I mentioned two of my favorite characters earlier, but they really do steal the scenes when they are on, especially Luke in a few episodes. Another character I've never really heard of before is Ashley Park. But she is another one that I love to watch when she was on screen. She plays Mindy, who is a nanny to two French kids who befriends Emily at a park, kind of takes pity on her before becoming Parisian BFFs. I will say Emily in Paris does try to give the characters at least some depth of character, but it isn't always there. They are there to give Emily her next situation, or to help her out of one, or maybe even to give her an opportunity to get further in French society. But once they're done, they're gone. You never really hear about them again. You know, I always harp on filming location. Whether or not you can tell if there are CGI or bad special effects, but I am super happy to learn that Emily in Paris filmed in Paris and in the French countryside. God, wouldn't that be a great work environment? Having to go to France for a couple of months to shoot a new TV show. Overall, Emily in Paris is a breath of fresh air, and it is a fun, light show that if you're looking for something to just take your mind away from everything that is happening in the world right now, you couldn't go wrong with Emily in Paris. I really did enjoy this show and kept clicking next, wanting to see what was going to happen. I truly do want a second season for Emily in Paris. With all that being said, guys, Shep Talk is giving Emily in Paris 4 Sheps out of 5. But guys, that is all I have time for today. Thank you. If you haven't already done so already, hit that subscribe button right there. It will truly mean the world to me. And if you like this video, check out some of my other videos over here. I'm sure you'll like one as well. But that is all I have time for today, guys. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next review.